Officials with the North Dakota Department of Commerce say they are receiving calls on a weekly basis from entrepreneurs interested in building data centers. These facilities use high-powered computers to manage and develop artificial intelligence. Applied Digital, is the latest company to invest in the state with a multi-billion-dollar center north of Fargo. Nick Phillips covers external affairs for the company and says the industry is just getting started.
Every single person in this room has, a cell phone. Your devices are talking to systems, and I think demand just keeps growing in these facilities. The chips will get faster and more power hungry, and we'll just keep building them.
Now, Governor Kelly Armstrong says it's important advancements in AI are done domestically rather than from China, but it also needs to be done responsibly for utility prices.
It's an absolute national security issue. This is where, whoever wins this race, whether it's us, whether it's China, whether it's somebody else, is going to define what a superpower is in the last half of the 21st century.
Armstrong says North Dakota's cold climate provides an advantage for data centers as their computers generate a lot of heat. Opponents of data centers say there's concerns of how much electricity and water is needed to maintain them.